Well, very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kyle Corvus Crow, joined at the casting desk today by Steven Return Johnson, as we are going to be bringing you a special League of Legends matches. Both 5-0 teams, New York and Western University, are going to be squaring off to take that coveted 6-0. It is Saturday, February the 24th, and if you're wondering why that's significant, it's because this is the kind of match that we otherwise would not normally see until far later into the season. These are some, late March, April kind of matchups that now here, thanks to this Swiss formatting, we're getting to see two teams contend on that undefeated stage, and I couldn't be more excited about it. Steven, why don't you tell us a little bit about this Swiss format?
Now that we are in week number 6, not much actually matters about Swiss at this point, but the general idea is every week teams are matched up against other similarly ranked teams. So right now you're seeing two of the 3 undefeated squads still in the Eastern region. Definitely a region who's really hardly feeling the loss of the University of Toronto team. They're still in the running, but they're not quite top dogs anymore, as Western, NYU, and University of Ottawa all contend for that #1 spot going on to that conference championships. Now, since these guys already have 5 wins in their belts, they're guaranteed a spot in those conference playoffs, but 6-0 will get you a much nicer spot and a much easier path to that conference title.
Absolutely. Very exciting play at this point because these teams have made it here to this 5-0 just off of the back of how good they are. It's not like they're in weak regions. It's not like they haven't gone up against good teams, and it just keeps getting harder. So we say it every week, but it's true every week, and even more so. This is going to be the hardest matchup of these guys' seasons. Western and New York, both two very competent, very well-established League of Legends teams, despite, some of them being younger programs, some of them trying to establish. I believe New York actually doesn't have formal school support. They're still trying to secure that. So for a student-run organization there, this is obviously a very big deal to make it this far. They're hoping to take the extra distance and prove it today, on a stage against such a great team. So I'm really excited to see the way that these games actually pan out.
Yeah, it should be incredibly interesting. And when you look at the path that both these guys took to get here, they weren't that easy, especially looking over at Western, who had to knock over Toronto, handing them their only loss of week number 4, while also winning over Ryerson in week 5. So these guys are on a tear and are looking to take that all the way through to the conference championships. Certainly still a few matches left before we even get there, but honestly, this is a matchup I could see happening again in either the semifinals or the finals of the East region. And one of these teams might just be making their way towards the national championships.
Yeah, absolutely. You do not get to this late in the Northern Conference, especially undefeated, without making a name for yourself and without having people raise that question. Well, are we going to see this one again? Is this a preview of matches further to come in the postseason? So all in all, a lot on the line. I feel a very high-pressure matchup. Going to be a lot on the players' shoulders, especially on the stream. This maybe, I think, the first time we broadcast either one of these guys. That adds another dynamic to it. The pressure's on. The fans are watching at home. So I can't wait to see how they're all going to perform under this pressure, because that's what separates the good league players from the great.
Yeah, most certainly. And it is going to... Oh, wait, one sec. There we go. We are going to get into our champion select for game number 1. And like you said, being able to uphold your play while under pressure is something that these guys are going to have to get used to, because from here on out, we broadcast most of those conference playoffs matches, especially once it gets to the actual finals. And then, heaven forbid, if you make it to those national finals, all eyes are on you. So you got to come out strong right here, because it only gets rougher.
Yeah, absolutely. So pay attention to the names you're seeing on screen, because you just might be catching these guys a little later on as we do start to build some familiar players, some familiar storylines, and so forth. Right now, not much is known besides what we can gather from what the players will tell us themselves or what their OP.GGs and so forth will tell us. So we'll see how much homework has been done in the pick and ban phase when the target bans start to come out. So that's going to be support-focused from the side of...
Not super sure if that's actually target bans, because you do have to realize we are on 8.4. This is the patch I've been talking about all of last week, and there are some pretty colossal changes. As Zyra's also been making her way back towards the support game as well, and a lot of these bans you're seeing come out here are going to be changing up quite heavily.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing for sure, it is focused towards the bot lane a little bit, as 3 champions are taken out of that pool already in the supports, the Xayah as well on the AD side of things. The Irelia and Swain taken out. No huge surprises seeing the Swain gone. just with the variable that champion is after the changes that they've made there. So Jarvan going to be a first pickup, something we've seen pretty much all season. No surprise there. Looks like Aqua Blue will be playing that one for NYU. It's going to be Kog'Maw Lulu taken away instantaneously for Western.
Kog'Maw certainly saw a lot of just decimation after the last patch, 8.3, when he was nerfed on his W damage. They have reverted some of those, brought him back up to what they call a healthy point on the damage. So still looking to scale it out through the game, but Kog'Maw was like the go-to ADC for a good portion of just the 8 patch. In general, 8.1, 8.2, he was right up there. So curious to see if 8.4 is actually going to bring him back to those high standards. And now that J4 is locked in, you also don't have to worry about a Rengar on the other side, who basically got his Q reverted back to old Rengar.
Right, no, absolutely. So won't be seeing that one come through. We'll be seeing a tale of scaling ADs as Tristana is the pickup for the side of NYU, and Nard to take it into the top lane, get a little bit of solo lane information out there. We'll see if Epic wants to go ahead and pick that one back up before the rest of the ban phase, or if they're going to go with the jungler here just to keep things all sorts of congruent. With the Jax lock in, we are heading into the second round of bans.
Yeah, Nard also got hit, not super hard, but did receive a considerable late game nerf to his Q cooldown. It's no longer on that 60% CDR if you catch it in the later stages of the game. It's still only on the 40, so Nard is still going to be coming out into laning phase with a lot of damage, but certainly isn't quite the late game split push threat that we have all known going on forward, but not going right on back. The Jax lock-in, most likely coming into the jungle here, but could also be headed towards top lane if they actually want to benefit now on the Nard reduced split push late.
Well, Jack's very interesting in the jungle role. One of the more mechanically intensive champions that you can pull into. So we'll see if they trust Disconnector with that one. Disconnector, for all you at home not in the know, is actually the substitute for Western University. So playing today in the absence of their main squad jungler Julius. I'm not sure the circumstances surrounding that one, but the team has said on record many a time that they are very comfortable with Disconnector. He's a highly skilled mechanical player. And with their team dynamic, they're not too worried. So we'll see if they trust him on that Jax or not. The support bans coming out from the side of Western are just insane. They do not want AD carry feeling comfortable this game.
No, and it is one of the two positions left up. Right now in the meta, there are just too many mid laners with all those AP changes to actually ban everyone out. So they're going to go for the much smaller pool at the moment, which is the support. Usually you want to get a tanky presence there, especially now that you have the J4 on the jungle. If you get something that helps lock down to facilitate one of those bot lane ganks with the J4 in the jungle, things can just become completely unmanageable.
Yeah, definitely so. So some very smart targeted banning coming out, very cerebral on the side of Western, just to make sure that they get things moving in the right direction there. Azir and Vladimir taken out, so it was mid lane focus from the side of NYU as they'll pick up Ziggs for themselves. Going to feel pretty good about that one. They know they have to give over last pick priority on the mid lane, so that's not going to be too worried about picking the Ziggs blind. And we'll see what they round it out with, because now there's that support pick. A lot taken off the tail, but the Tom Kench, I like what it would do to round out this composition for the side of New York.
But the biggest thing is there's nothing really Tom Kench is being used for here, aside from just being a tank on the side of New York. You have Tristana, you have Ziggs, two very mobile carries themselves who can get themselves out of a lot of sticky situations. And the only two dive threats you have to go with are the Jax and the Maokai. So definitely that is what happens when you ban away the support pool. They're kind of forced into a situation they don't really want to play as. You'd rather give Tristana someone more aggressive she can play with in the laning phase, like the Alistar, like the Taric, but they're not going to be able to pick up that one. And I think the Ziggs here from Maul is going to be the standout for me. I talked about it a little bit before, but on 8.4, a lot of those AP items have been changed. Morellonomicon is no longer just the automatic first buy. You can go for the Archangels, you can go for just a wide plethora of items. Plus, you also have the orb added in for the bonus AP and movement speed when you click on it. So I want to see what he's actually going to go with here, because Corki is a lot safer, a lot more meta mid laner at the moment, and maybe this is the way NYU breaks match out early.
Yeah, maybe so. So, you know, got to keep the enemy team on their toes. A Ziggs pick, definitely an option to do that. Chimona, you know, on that Corki, a lot of playmaking potential as it does get into the later stages of the game. You definitely don't want to let that champion get rolling. We'll see how they play it out. Trying to decide here, with the positions and the way it's set up. So I was expecting a trade to come between short hop and disconnector. Looks like it's just a little bit of did change to the heel from that smite at last second. I didn't think you'd be running Spellbook, but all in all, top to bottom, I guess it's just a slight mispositioning there. And disconnector will be playing in the AD role, and short hop will be jungling, so he will be the one filling in for Julius.
Yeah, curious to see how this one actually does pan out. But if I'm just gonna start hitting on the team compositions themselves, I'd have to say I'm a big fan of NYU, despite the Tahm Kench on the support role, which maybe isn't the best thing in the world for me. They have so much ability to play through this early game. Ziggs plus Tristana, if they get a lead, there is not going to be a single tower left on this map. Corki plus Kog'Maw, sure, there's a little bit of wave clear in there, but if they do not get considerable leads early, it's going to be so unbelievably hard. And now it's almost up to shortstop over on the side of a Western to facilitate this early game, get somebody rolling. Because if he can't make something rolling, Maokai's not going to win top versus Gnar. Corki should not win mid versus Ziggs, and Tristana Tahm Kench should beat out the Kog'Maw Lulu in the early stage of the game. So this one for me really feels like it's NYU's game to lose in the early.
I think so, and I actually like how NYU's going to transition into the mid-game kind of team fighting portion as well, just with what Ziggs is going to give them in, as far as ability to zone out portions of, the skirmish area. When you keep in mind that Gnar and Jarvan combo, the Narvan, with the Ziggs just to, lay out the areas of the map that you cannot play around, I think it becomes pretty sticky for the side of Western to try to navigate into that, especially guys like Maokai and Jax who are going to want to try to push through that and get onto your back line. With the Tahm Kench for security there, I agree. There were probably some better support picks, maybe not ones that weren't banned out. But either way, we'll see how AD Carry can keep Miala safe there. And it's going to be pretty hard to get to this Tristana. So if they can, get this champion rolling, that's going to feel great for him. Even if not, they have the damage threats, right? It's not like Ziggs is just impotent in the mid lane coming out. He's going to be able to have a lot of burst potential as well. So I think NYU set themselves up pretty nicely here. The backlining tools of Western are going to be what I'm going to be keeping my eyes on as far as the way that they're going to get into this game.
Yeah, for sure. And the big thing with that is how does actually Western get to that team fighting phase? Because even when you talk about NYU and their team fighting ability, they never want to take a team fight. If there is ever a team fight on the map without a 5 to 10k gold lead, that is a disadvantageous position for NYU. They have so much mobility with the Tahm Kench. They have the split pusher, and they have so much siege potential that this perfect game for them is over in 20 minutes with like 1 kill on the board and just knock over the Nexus, because there's nothing that Western can do unless they make some plays early to actually stop this push.
Sure. I think the Jax in the jungle there is the answer for Western, and it's going to come down to how well Short Hop performs in that way, because I'm looking to him to really start bankrolling a lot of his lanes early. The Jax can be so ferocious if he gets an early kill, if he's able to get an early kill onto one of his laners. And so I don't just want to put the strategy as, yeah, GG gank mid and it's over. But certainly that's going to be a priority, I believe, for Short Hop. He's not just going to want to sit there and farm out and farm out and farm out, because the game's going to get away from him.
Yeah, most certainly. We are going to head over towards our loading screen. And definitely a few changes came through with the runes as well on this last patch, none of which really seem to be coming to fruition. The big one for me also is Tahm Kench has taken the Spellbook over the more widely accepted Glacial Augment. So, I mean, it's just really what you actually want to get done in that lane. He's going Ignite early. I wouldn't be shocked to see him switch that to a Teleport for the map rotations or the Exhaust for those later game fights. But it's definitely going to hurt them a little bit in the laning phases. We've already touched on as well how lackluster Tahm Kench can be in some of these lanes, as opposed to something like the Lulu, as opposed to something like the Alistar Taric.
Yeah, no, certainly the case. And so the laning phase for this bot lane on the side of New York is, I think, mission critical. And that's where they're going to be, I would assume, pouring a lot of resources. Pause off the gate. Just going to be held up for a few seconds by that one. Looks like a member of Western did not connect, so we're just going to be trying to fix that one up really quickly. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to share a little bit of information about the CSL. If you are just joining us, if you're not familiar with who we are, what we do, when we do it, and how, love to share a little bit of that with you. So wanted to give you a shout. The Reconnect is coming through, but we're still going to go through it anyway. If you want to keep up with what we're doing in esports, Discord is a great way to follow that, not just in League of Legends, but in all of our esport endeavors that we do, the Dota, the Counter-Strike. If you want to get your school more involved, get a little bit more information, hit !Discord in the chat. We'll get you hooked up with everything you need there. Give us a shout on social media. Any feedback, we'd love to hear it. Twitter.com/CStarLeague, CSLLOL for more league-specific content. Facebook.com/CStarLeague as well. If you want to find the casters on Twitter, !Casters in the chat, or the overlay should be there on your screen. I want to give a huge shout out to Twitch. Say, as always, nothing but gratitude for the largest streaming platform in all of competitive gaming to support our collegiate esport endeavors. From events like PAX East and West, many more, CSL wouldn't be what we are today without their continued help and support. Be on the lookout for cool opportunities to get involved with Twitch in the near future. Be sure to show them some love for their support on their social media, twitter.com/Twitch, facebook.com/Twitch. And lastly, if you want to keep up with everything going on in League of Legends, and you can't make every single broadcast, of which there will be many this weekend, that's okay. We've got you covered. Head over to youtube.com/user/CStarLeague to catch all of our post-match and show VODs that we bring up daily. Lots of content being uploaded throughout the week, so keep up there. Again, that is youtube.com/user/CStarLeague. And with that, we're back.
Nice. All right, so we're going to start off with this one. Ooh, we have a CLOL coming in the mid lane for Chim. That is mostly just to keep that game going. He wants to hit 2 items. He wants to Triforce as soon as humanly possible, because once there's at least some items on the Corki, you're going to have some amount of teamfight presence. Like, your ADC disconnector needs to hit Rage Blade. He needs to hit probably 2 to 3 more items on top of that before he becomes the giant threat that Kog'Maws do tend to be in the late game. I mean, you picked this guy for a reason. They're Juggernaut comps in existence for a reason. So that's not the way that these two teams seem to be approaching it, but nevertheless, it will still be a pretty decent win condition for the side of Western to make it to that late game. And also another thing that does catch my attention, not only is there no minion dematerializer on either team, but there's no minion dematerializer on the Maokai, which usually you see taken into matchups like Narda, help him out with that pushing pressure. And if Aqua Blue just has 3 winning lanes on his side, he's going to just completely tear apart this map.
Yeah, interesting decision by Epic there. We'll see how comfortable he feels in this lane, because, you know, Gnar is never a fun champion to play up against. And look at there, it's another short pause. Blaze Nova saying, health bars are missing, just a slight visual glitch. So it shouldn't be anything with the connection, should just be as easy as quitting out, reloading, getting right back in. It's kind of a no harm, no foul situation right now, just because no one's engaging in any fights or anything, nothing mechanical happening on the board, so this should be okay.
That one's actually pretty brutal. I've had that bug once or twice before in solo queue, and it's worse when you're in solo queue and you can't reset, because you have to then guess where everyone's at, guess what your in lane partner's at. And I've had the like red in the laning phase where like, oh, I really don't want to disconnect, but I can't see anyone's health bars. It's really annoying to play with, but we will get right back into this one. And speaking of health bars, looks like Milo's going to be doing quite a bit of work to keep his fairly high. As with the lane with Tahm Kench, they have opted to go a little bit more defensively. It is going to be the Doran's Shield over the Doran's Blade over... Well, I don't think Longsword's actually a starting item set for ADCs anymore, but definitely going to paint the NYU bot lane as a lot more defensive during these early stages of the game. Now, that being said, it's still a Tristana. No matter how many shields you give her, she's still going to be able to bash your face in levels 2 through 5. So, curious to see how they actually do pull the one off in the bottom side, and we definitely need to start tracking how these lanes are pushing.
Yeah, definitely interested to see the safer play coming through from the bottom side of NYU, because I find it a little surprising. Usually that's not the way you want to play into a Kog'Maw, and especially with a Lulu there. I know that the harass is going to be very potent, but, you know, they can dish it back out in spades as well, and, you know, barring any jungler intervention, I would expect to see a little bit more aggression out of the face of Niala here. AD carry, just go swallow her right back up, say that's okay, and not going to worry about that. Just mitigating the damage, as we do see some nice trades starting to build up in the top side. Bot lane pushing slightly in favor of Western.
The aggression in the bot lane is definitely centered around the Tahm Kench. It's a pick for the team comp. It's not a pick for the laning phase. And NYU, the good thing is that they're acknowledging it and they're playing around it. Sometimes you'll see teams get forced into picking a suboptimal laning phase, a suboptimal something or another, and then they'll try to go full aggression during that phase. So, say some other team might have gone Tahm Kench support and then try to go all in levels 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, NYU is still playing around their win condition, and those still do exist. You have the shoving top lane. Sprinkles is just absolutely out-shoving Epic, which in the Maokai versus Gnar matchup is no real surprise. But also for me, the mid lane is going a little bit less ideal so far for the side of NYU. Just with not having the uber shoving out mid lane. Sure, that is going to be changing here with the first few items coming through. But so far, nothing too nutty going on over.
Yeah, I do want to see a little bit more agency coming out of Malphase. He's letting Chimona get these excellent harasses on through. And he's in a position where he can trade back a little bit. Actually, those 2 caster minions not making life easy for Chimona there. So, all in all, we'll push him right on back out. But, yeah, like you said, this is the kind of thing you want to see Malphase being really proactive about, really starting to build up with and start making a storyline for this game out of the mid lane. And I know you do have to be worried about the Jax gank, just about at any level, while he's got that flash up in particular, especially with the lack of vision surrounding the mid lane. But this seems a little bit overcautious. Maybe Malphase still just really feeling the lane out.
The biggest thing is probably going to be when you can pick up the last chapter in the lane as it Ziggs. You, of course, want to get out the spam, and you want to also have the sustain to allow you and to enable you to actually get that poke game started. And a big thing also with those AP changes, sure, he's got a lot more options, a lot more ability to choose the way he wants to build in the mid lane. But Lost Chapter actually went from 900 to 1100 gold in lane. So yeah, I don't even think he's going to be able to, oh, he's just going to be able to buy it. So that does delay its purchase time just a little bit in that laning phase. But now with the Lost Chapter on the backers, he's actually not going to back. But once he does back, theoretically, he will have plenty more shoving power, but that's also a price you have to pay, especially against the Corki who chose the call, who chose the accelerated scaling. So definitely a lot hangs in the balance, but there's still plenty of room for NYU. Find a good map rotation, find a good gank from Aqua Blue, free up one of these big pushing threats, and they can just rip apart some towers here with their siege.
Ooh, flash coming in, flash coming out. Not going to be the biggest use there. Ignite did come out from carry as well, and he's going to try to eat up Disconnector. Does find him, so Miala's going to get the damage. Force a flash there, and a nice trade coming out for the side of NYU. They do get the summoners out of both members of Western's bot lane. Only the Ignite remains for Blaze Nova, and 2 backs almost certain at this point. Disconnector going to try to wade through it, but how low Blaze Nova is, I don't think it's the best idea to try to stick around here too long without an intervention from Short Hop, who's currently on the top side.
Once again, it does not matter how defensively you start building in this lane. Tristana will just have the advantage.
Here comes the gank. Sprinkles is in a little bit of trouble. There is going to be the flash out, but Jack's right on him. Doesn't care. First blood with the hop, maintaining the flash of his own. And Aqua Blue tried to be on the rotation, but was not there in time. Sprinkles just overestimating his power there and went down hard to Epic and Short Hop.
Not only that, that was also an extremely over-aggressive situation. You saw that Epic already used the TP to get back into lane. He already went back, picked up the Thornmail as well. And Sprinkle was just sticking around without much vision, at least on the river. Hadn't called over for help, and just put himself in a spot to be ganked. And sure, 9 times out of 10 that might work for you. 9 times out of 10 the jungler's not going to appear right there. You get a free back, TP back, no harm, no foul. But it's that 10th time that will put you behind. And I mean, he's still doing a pretty good job scaling. Wants to get onto the Black Cleaver Spike, help him out with this shoving game. But for now, that's gonna be a little bit of a pain in the rear. Is once again, the big point for Western has to be scaling, and all these plays, and especially that kill on the top side, just buys them time.
Sure. Return to you, and I spoke about it earlier. This Jax has the potential to really start moving these lanes in the right direction for the side of Western. A kill in his back pocket is going to feel great there, so now I'm really expecting him to make some moves, particularly around this bot side. I think he'll get the clears here, but there's the Infernal Drake looming there as well. You know, Rift Herald not on the map yet, not a presence, so bot lane, something they need to get moving in the right direction. An Infernal Drake, something that would be excellent for them to take away. So I really do expect to see Short Hop making some moves around this side of things. He came up against Aqua Blue in the bot side maybe 3 minutes ago. It was very kind of stunted, just engaged between the two of them. And he sent Aqua Blue packing, so he should feel pretty good about that 1v1 if it comes up again. But side of New York, very, very proactive on this Infernal Drake. They want to find it, and I don't think Western were aware of this potential happening at all. They're just picking it now, but that is 100% gone.
The big thing right here for Western is they cannot contest. Disconnector and Blaze Nova have no flashes available. If they got into a fight, that is not one they can leave willingly. And just comparing the strength of ADCs and mid laners who could roam on over at the moment, everything's just looking NYU right now. This is the point in the game that they really need to make their presence. They need to make their power spikes felt. And so far, Infernal Drake is never a bad way to start that off, but it's what comes after that really dictates the pace of this one.
I'll tell you what comes after Infernal Drake. Second Infernal Drake. That is what's on the queue for us today here. So definitely going to be contested. The second Drake, nothing you want to let go over to NYU for free. So I definitely expect to see a little bit more proactivity coming out of the side of Western for that one this time around, as it looks like they're just trying to play the scaling farm game, and it's not going their way the top side. It's not going their way in the AD carry matchup, and it's really just, I'd say, going okay in the mid lane.
Well, I mean, any advantage you have onto Ziggs is going to be incredibly well off for your squad. Lost Chapter probably building into something here pretty soon from Alphase. Might turn that one around a little bit. But the big part of this is just building up that economy. There's still only 100. Actually, they're in the lead by 100 gold. Got quite a bit from that early kill in the top lane. And the idea with the scaling comp is if everything's even, or if you're only a few K in the hole, by the time you hit your spikes, you just are innately bigger. You're innately more powerful. So it doesn't matter as much if top lane's losing, if bot lane's losing, as long as it's gracefully losing. It's not giving up the big objectives. It's not giving over the towers, and it's not giving over multiple kills. And that's got to be the game plan coming out here for Western. Is they're still having a fairly decent, fairly comfortable laning phase so far,
Wrinkle's
but
in trouble.
top lane,
yeah, he's going to have a hard time getting out of this one alive. Just trying to pick out a kill, but not even going to find that one as Epic takes up the kill credit. And now the top lane tower potentially in trouble here, as the members of Western probably going to want to just stick around, try to get that first turret gold down. Looks like New York maybe trying to answer with a rotation to the bot lane, but they're definitely the slower ones on this, as that tower is taken all out and away for free as they toss a second kill now over into their pockets. Epic taking the credit for that one, and it's an okay response from New York. They get a tower themselves, but you know, how long is this going to keep going on? Because it looks like Western just want to keep pushing this.
yeah, and there is nobody with TP available actually to help out Sprinkles up here, so this could just be the top lane tower going over again. Western, they were the ones who made that first move, and they made it safely of all things. Oh, here comes the engage.
Flash Twisted Advance coming in. The root is up. The stun there as well. Sprinkles so low health. He died under that tower once. He's going to die again. Don't know what he is thinking walking back into the same amount of champions, same circumstances as he just died in, but he thought, hey, maybe this time will be different. Western assured him, no, it will not be. But now the New York members are on the chase. Carry with the tongue lash not quite connecting. Should mean short hops out of this one. Okay, they might want to try to flash in for it. They do. Aqua Blue there, but look at that. The leap right out makes the flash right in. The dunk from a distance. Aqua Blue finds the first kill. They're going to try to get in onto Epic. He does have the tower. He does have the health bar, but Niala here should really help this one come on through and finds a crucial kill for the carry of NYU, and they answer back with a couple nice kills of their own.
But here's the thing. NYU are not going to find a single objective off this play. Okay, maybe they're going to find the Herald, but they're not going to find a single standing objective just yet. And that was really good for Western, who, once again, only wants to play the scaling game. They knew that there was a safe play up the top side. They knew that Aqua Blue was nowhere to be found, so they made the play on top. They brought three members. They got the tower, while, most importantly, Disconnector and Blaze Nova, they backed off. This is a great macro game currently coming out of Western, and NYU need to find a response right now.
Yeah, the teleport's coming through. Aqua Blue has to be swallowed up to get out of there. Rift Herald has not reset. Keep that in mind, because the members of Western now want to get on it. I think they're going to find that one here, and it is Aqua Blue coming, and he does get the smite, so that will take it out defeated. But Disconnector does take the kill in return. There shall be no Rift Herald for either team, it looks like, as Aqua Blue did get the credit. There are no members of NYU that can get in there to actually pick up the standing buff. So all in all, Rift Herald, really just the moral victory, and it cost him his life, so not going to feel great there for Aqua Blue, but the denial aspect is huge. Great response coming out of Western to hold them off of that one.
Yeah, most certainly, but, I mean, no matter what, trading your life for denying a Rift Herald away is not what you want to be doing right now if you're NYU. You need to be getting this advantage. You need to be finding those towers. You need to be cementing yourself a decently good CS lead, because in the mid lane, I mean, that's still a Triforce completed already. The Cole's done as well. Certainly a little bit further off from Disconnector, as he hasn't even established enough for his Rage Blade just yet. But this is a fairly fast-scaling team on the side for Western at the moment, and NYU, there just hasn't been that play. Aquablue has been feeling fairly like a non-factor this match.
Yeah, I mean, he has the 1-1-1, and granted, his only death was sort of becoming the sacrificial lamb to get that Rift Herald out and away from the clutches of Western, but you really want to see a little bit more proactivity, especially looking at 3 deaths onto Sprinkles. The way they played around the top side of this map has not been stellar. Aquablue, really helping to sneak out that first Infernal Drake, but after that, not been what we've wanted to see. So his second Infernal Drake is getting ready to come on up. Pretty big objective here for the side of NYU, and they know it. They are grouping up. That's going to be a split push coming out from Chimona, and he is going to be able to push into, that there's only 1 tower remaining in the top lane before the inhibitor. So he has to teleport. Going to be a pretty good positioning just for Western there, as it looks like he does want to roam down, not waste that teleport. So they are going to call off the split push. They want to find the fight, and it's just a matter of NYU trying to pick it off first. They get on to Short Hop, but he's out of there, living up to his namesake, and we'll see how far they want to push this one, because they are trying to get in. It's only Epic that they've been able to get onto thus far, and Aquablue thinking better of getting over the wall just yet. It's a delayed standoff, and the tensions are building. We'll see who comes in. It's going to be Corky jumping in. Chimona, not maybe the safest pick off there, as he does get half his health bar taken out for it, and Malface wanting to find the blood here. I don't think that was exactly what Western wanted, but the 1v1's going well thus far, and it is dunked out. Malface does find Chimona there, so it's a 4v5 now for the side of Western, and this should mean Dragon pretty easily taken away for the side of NYU. We'll see if there are any heroics from Western, but I kind of doubt it at this point.
Yeah, and this Dragon just is NYU's to take. They have the power advantage right now. I mean, yeah, Western is doing a good job scaling. They are far from there just yet, and maybe a little bit too much aggression trying to take away that Dragon in particular. Maybe banking on NYU, making a positional mistake, making some sort of mistake around this map so far, but so far, at least on that last play, at least on the Dragon, that was a good setup and good execution coming right on through. And I do realize we are on 8.4, and we haven't even talked about the most impactful change of all time. And that is trackers. Tracker Knife is just gone. You no longer can rely on your jungler for that early vision, which, unfortunately for NYU, should promote more early game plays, not deny them. So, still, just a lot of question marks coming out right now, and NYU are still unable to convert on any real early advantage, and that clock, it's really ticking.
Yeah, I think the Infernal Drakes are really the saving grace for this team right now.
Wait, time out. Disconnector picked up the Boots of Lucidity? Huh.
Yep, nope. Ionian Boots of Lucidity, the cooldown boots are indeed on the Kog'Maw, so...
Alright.
Not really gonna...
Theory
I'm not
crafting
trying to
time.
unpack that one.
No, I will, though. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm on the left. But
Sure.
I assume that's for the reduction in Summoner spell cooldowns. Because, I mean, if you get ulted by Aquablue, you have to flash on out. So, maybe just looking for the reduced flash cooldown. I mean, wouldn't really be looking for the overall CDR. I mean, sure, you always want your W on a lower cooldown. Just more time to the fight. But gonna go on a limb and say that that one is for the flash away. Because anytime there is no flash on Disconnector, if there is an ult coming up from Aquablue, you can't leave. That is like the entirety of the reason behind the J4 Galio combo. If you lock somebody in that, they are not leaving ever.
Well, okay. Disconnector. We'll see how it works out for him. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. So, excited to see that one in action, because I do understand at least where it's coming from when you frame it like that. You know, that is a huge burden that you always have to be on the lookout for. The Cataclysm, the Narhop, it's going to be all big. Sprinkles,
that
though,
is one long lane.
in some trouble. Yeah, that's going to be caught up by the ultimate as well. Stunned up, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and Short Hop finds the kill easily. Gonna feel that one taken out and away. It's a flash burn from the jungler, but he got the top lane flash as well. Sprinkles will not have that coming to the next fight, and Short Hop will take that trade any day.
I wouldn't put the entirety of the blame on on Sprinkles here for his deficit. Sure, certainly some of it, like the one kill he went on topside, which is being over greedy in that lane. But kills number 2 and 3 came out from roams. One of just Short Hop tower diving into the top tower. The third one, though, definitely shouldn't really be his fault. Chimona came up there with him. I mean, sure, if you had better vision control, if you threw down the control ward, you'd be able to see that coming and back out in time. But when the scaling squad makes a 3-man rotation, taking their mid lane or throw them top lane, you need to be able to respond in kind from NYU, and that response really didn't exist this game. So certainly, I think the blame can be spread all around here. I don't think Sprinkles is just hard inting like some viewers might think at the moment, but it certainly is not helping them.
No, not going to feel the best in this current position. You can take a look at the vision, and you can really see where the priorities lay for the side of NYU, and it's all around the bottom half of the map. It's just what they want to play around. It's where they found the objectives. They found the dragon. They found the first bot lane tower, and that's where I would wager most of their kills have come through. You take a look on the other side of things, and it's all top lane focus coming out, maybe not in the vision sense from the side of Western, but definitely in the way that they've played. They've taken away those 2 top towers. They've got 4 out of their 5 kills onto the top laner, and they're just punishing NYU's, I don't even want to say inability to play around this top side of the map, but certainly refusal to play around this top side of the map right now.
And I mean, it's not that NYU has to go defend that top side. It's just that if they're going to spend resources topside, you need to spend your resources somewhere else, and it just felt like AquaBlue never was able to allocate those resources. Neither from Malphase. When that rotation happened, I also didn't see him really roaming around able to make a counterplay at all on that. And yeah, even going further, that's also just short hop with very good jungle sense. He's been getting the quick wards in. He's been tracking AquaBlue, and every time he's made a play on this top side of the map, he has made sure it's a safe one. So this is just sticking to a game plan and all members playing to it. Not only great performances coming out from mid lane, Shimona, making sure he makes his way up towards the top side every once in a while. Not only a great play from Short Hop and Epic, just obviously destroying Sprinkles in lane, but also great play from Disconnector and Blaze Nova, knowing that they need to play defensively. They need to give up objectives so that the rest of the team can get something, and that is what separates a good league team from the great ones.
Ooh, they want to find something. It may just be the mid tower, but they'll take that one out easily. New York answer back with the tower of their own and tie it up in turrets, still down about a K in gold there, just with the CS and kill differentials that they do have to make up throughout certain parts of this game. Western behind in most aspects. Again, only the mid lane is the saving grace in CS if we are just looking at those raw creep scores, but even so, Chimona there has been very impactful for this game, where Malphase, despite the kill, you gotta wonder, can he be doing more for his team right now? So all in all, Western and New York are playing a pretty even game, but as the clock continues to tick on, you just have to start raising eyebrows at some of the champions in the back pocket of New York here, because it's not going to get any easier as this clock ticks up.
Exactly, and you really want to see someone break out of this laning phase. I mean, sure, Malphase and Mila have been having decent performances so far, but they haven't got that time to really set up. They haven't gotten that time to start the siege machine that is Ziggs plus Tristana. I mean, if they have any advantage and they set up and they just push on the tower, that tower does not stand for very long. But they just haven't gotten that chance. Top lane hasn't controlled the pressure in any meaningful way so far this matchup, and it's been keeping NYU from establishing a play going on forward. And at some point, you kind of just got to go for the Hail Mary. You got to go for a ballsy play. And I wouldn't call this one the ballsiest one in the world, but they are going to be able to split pressure and grab a dragon.
Yeah, I like the sneak. It's very risky, actually, leaving Malala to do that one alone, just as the Tristana. I mean, sure, you can rocket jump over the wall, but, you know, we see something similar. Sprinkles has the Gnar hop to get out, and that's not helped him 4 out of the last times. So Ocean Drake taken out and away. They're going to feel pretty good about that one, especially as it is another Ocean Drake to boot. So one of the dragons that's very good in tandem as they do get ready for these prolonged engages. But the question on the board is, what are they going to do in the meantime? Because they got 6 minutes to kill, and if they just keep playing out at this pace, Western will make the most of it, and NYU will not be in the best of positions come 6 minutes of no kills, more farming. So I'd be curious to see what pushes they're going to set up. It's a very, very big vision war around the Baron right now. Western came in, cleared out all of New York's. Now New York is coming in, clearing out all of Western's. And we'll see it just push back and forth and a little bit of tug of war in the meantime. Red turret does go down to the top lane. That's going to be taken out in a way as the split pushers come up to meet each other in the bot side of things. It will be mid versus top. Sprinkle's going to be coming up against Chimona, but a good rotation nets a mid lane turret.
Greedy coming up from Malphase. He could have very easily used that ultimate to clear the wave, buy time for AquaBlue and buy time for AD Carry to at least make their ways back, but it looks like the side for NYU, they're just very content with trading at this moment. So, I mean, sure, they do still have the Tristana in the bag. She is kind of the late game insurance policy, but I'm not really convinced right now that they're going to be able to find that one standout play. Oh, but look at bot side. You've seen this play before.
Yeah, this is something very familiar to all of us. Sprinkles hopping out of that one, not going to be surprised. Does get the shove back, and then Mega Gnar has a fighting chance and just barely makes it. The insurance coming out from AD. Carry to get there, but that's a lot blown just to not die, especially under a tower that's crumbling as is. So, Sprinkles, at least it's a move in the right direction, right? Better than dying.
Most certainly. In NYU, they're still letting this one slip away, but there's still ways for them to come back in on this one. They need to play that rotational game one way or another. Use the Tahm Kench to your ability, but a big part of that too is being able to play through the vision game as well, because look at the map at the moment. That is all red. There is barely any wards here from New York University, and that's going to make it incredibly hard for them to either start a split push game, start a siege game, or just start a game in general. So unless they really flip around that vision game, which God bless they are actually doing right now, it's going to be incredibly hard for them to keep facilitating these plays. Certainly, all hope is not lost. You still have the Baron on the board, and you're still in a stronger position at the moment with 2 Infernals, 1 Ocean Drake in the bag, and just the scaling advantage at the moment. But certainly, that clock is starting to wind down.
I think more so than the Baron vision, I really like the deep line of vision that Western has placed in the jungle entrances for the side of New York. They have 3 very critical wards, actually 2 of which just expired as I was talking about this. There goes the last one, so
unlucky.
Never mind, returned. Unlucky. Points off.
Well, certainly, and NYU, they are just hanging around this Baron. Want to see if they try to use it, use a little bit of mid-range shove as well, maybe bait out the TP from Chim, and then you have at least some sort of advantage to play around. But at the moment, those advantages that you can play around, they just don't exist.
Ooh, short hop actually in some trouble. Blaze Nova gonna go down. That's a huge takeaway. You cannot be that aggressive against the likes of a Jarvan the Fourth if you are just the support. Didn't have the backup. A short hop was not enough, and you know, Disconnector wasn't even there, so they're going to start up there, and they are forcing out the teleport. We'll see if they can interrupt. Epic is coming down with the ultimate. He's going to lock a lot of them down. Short hop, hit up with the ultimate. Half health bar before he even comes in. The exhaust is going to make sure he dies. Now Epic on the run out. New York are just tearing through the members of Western. It's not going well. Disconnector nowhere to be found this fight, and he is going to have to walk away with a very full health bar. And they do want to find him on the back line, but I think Carry and Malface are just going to be content to walk back to the Baron. It is a dot lane tower takeaway. Chimona does find that, but what all is it worth in the face of a big old Baron for NYU?
Absolutely horrible timing coming out from Western, and a great redemption play from Sprinkles. You saw the TP being channeled there from Chim, wanted to get on that fight and probably would have turned it back over in Western's favor, but Sprinkles was Mega Gnar. He had the ultimate in his pocket. He was able to jump forward, stop Chim, and then rejoin the bot lane. So certainly that's not a Baron for nothing. They are going to be trading back and forth, but the Baron is finally another advantage that they can play around, that they can leverage to turn this 5-man squad into the siege machine it was so meant to be.
I know it. They have the Tristana. They have the Ziggs. It's a time to play catch-up on some of this standing gold. They are barely scratching out a gold lead, if you can count 100 gold to be anything sort of a lead. And now it's standing gold to make up back on the map. So when they take these towers, the catch-up game that they will be playing is insane. And it's all now on Western to figure out how to stop them, because they have decent enough clear. They can make something happen, but it's going to be very hard to find that right set of circumstances, especially with just so many outer towers and rotational abilities to play out now for the side of New York. They're going to have the push building up in that bottom lane. They already have a push built up in that top lane, so they're going to feel really good about their options right now.
The question has to be, does Western feel confident enough where Disconnector is at to actually start a fight up here? And I'd almost argue no, because those are 3 items completed onto Myla. That is the completed crypt build core coming out for Tristana. Well, there's still no Blade of the Ruined King coming out from Disconnector, so it's still going to be incredibly hard for him to cut through these 3 big frontliners are currently on the side for NYU. So they are going to be content with the moment, which is holding on to those inhibitors, but Disconnector!
Oh no, not good. Not what they wanted, but look at this. It is actually going to be turned around. Malface goes down for that. He tried to find the positioning on the ultimate. Instead, he found positioning right into Epic's face. And Polymorph out now. Aqua Blue in some trouble. Rooted up. Gonna go down for sure there. Chimona picks that one up. And AD Carry just going to be using the Hourglass to buy a few short seconds. Doesn't matter. So 3 members dead off of a very, very aggressive push coming out from the side of New York, and it's only now Sprinkles and Diala there to pick up the pieces of this one, and that is not what they wanted.
Yeah, and this could be the beginning of the end, because after this Baron buff, towards the 30 to 35 minute mark, Disconnector is going to get that 4th item. You are going to have bigger, beefier items coming out from the rest of the squad, and unless there is an amazing pick play, like we almost saw Disconnector go on down there, but
yeah,
in the end, it was a good enough disengage and overcommitment from NYU. They didn't focus the tower, they went for the dive, and it did not pay off in the end, and that's a lot being traded back over, and once again, gold advantage, 50.2 to 49.2, 1K in the pockets for Western.
Pings coming out on the Dragon, on the bot side now. The members of New York are trying to figure out how they can pick up the pieces of this lost fight, because that is a pretty harsh setback, and it's not one I think they were expecting, so it's got to be very much a moral wave coming through that's hitting them pretty hard. They will take up the next Ocean Drake, so 2 of those in their back pocket's going to feel really good. Didn't squeak it out in time to get 5 before the Elder, so that will just be the 4. We will have our Elder Drake coming up next on this one. So they're going to feel pretty good playing around that one, especially Baron should be up a tick before that, but they really have to be careful here because, like you said, Disconnector really is coming online. They want to find him. That is the Cataclysm. He cannot flash out. Sprinkles gets it. No chance. As the tower will be the next one to fall, but look at this. Now Western are trying to salvage it. What a shot. They're coming in. Disconnector finds Aqua Blue, but Short Hop's going to go down onto this one. Epic going to be the next one. Sprinkles does go down in the fray, and it is as well AD Carry taken out. So there are deaths on both sides. 2 for 3 right now, favoring actually Western, but Malface and Miala have good health bars, can definitely continue this pressure if they wanted to for a brief second, but no, Chimona will be able to hold it out. They find the tower in a trade that favors Western by 1. That's a pretty close call.
And that's got to be completely disheartening for NYU. They started that fight by killing Disconnector. They could not have asked for a better beginning to that team fight, and they still weren't actually able to keep on going. And now when you look at it, honestly, NYU, the only way I see them winning this game is either A, finding another beautiful pick like that and continuing it, or a little bit of a controversial one, they can play the scaling game as well. A big part also of 8.4 were the changes to how Baron and Elder Dragon work, and I want to hit on Elder Dragon in particular, because not only does it respawn quicker, 8 minutes instead of 10, but it also gives you bonus burn damage based on how many stacks you've had in the past, including the Baron buff as well. So I believe it starts with like 45 damage, and then every additional Baron, every additional Dragon that you pick up does go into that count. So if they're able to keep this one going, they might just have a big enough buff that's able to knock down that squad from Western. But even speaking of that, it's still quite a ways off. It's way out in the distance, and Western will be hitting those spikes by then. So you gotta wonder if they're not able to solidify this next Baron, if they're not able to solidify that first Elder Dragon when it finally comes up, there's still just not much left here in the tank for NYU.
It's definitely getting tense all the way across the board. You can feel the pressure that these players are playing with on their shoulders. And we talked about how they would respond to that and what kind of, foolish mistakes might be made. And there are a lot from the side of Western that I have to levy some criticism on for. We saw that initial Valkyrie in from Chimona there. Disconnector getting caught out a couple of times, was saved by his flash in the first fight. But that second one, the last time we just saw in the bot lane, did not go the way they wanted. And so you have to wonder if they can just clean up and avoid making those mistakes. Are they just a shoe-in for victory here as the scaling is getting preferable? Or will NYU be able to find one of those picks? Because they're all running together now. There is potential for the flank, but we have to bring in Miala back from this one, and it seems to be Western pushing up onto this mid lane inhibitor tower. They want to find the inhibitor. I'm sorry, the tower's not even there. Yeah, it's just the inhibitor that they want to find, so we'll see if it can come through. Aqua Blue is on the sidelines.
Watch the rage bar. Once that goes up, they might go in.
Yeah, definitely going to be wanting that nice little bit of damage chunk on the ult. Not for the secure. They got Disconnector low, but Sprinkles trying to get in the epic ult to keep things down. The reception should move things in the right direction. It will be just the disengaged potential coming out from Western. I can't believe they got out of that one alive. Wow.
Yeah, that one was very, very close and great disengage from Western, but is this going to be enough for NYU to actually take this Baron? that play forced so many people off, forced the flash away from Disconnector as well.
Teleport's coming
in. They're gonna be here. Here's the TP, just like you said. Yeah, there's no Gnar ulti.
Oh man, but they're shredding through this Baron very fast. It's only got 2k left, no K left as they take it out in a way, but the fight is breaking out. Epic wants in, doesn't have the ultimate, doesn't matter. Carry is going low, the exhaust onto Epic just to keep him off their face, but Short Hop jumps right back in, jumps right back in. Are you kidding me? Oh, catches him up, and look at that! It's such a takeaway, a triple kill coming down for Gnar. He will not be denied this. Sprinkles is absolutely making up, and it is another kill taken away. Nialo finds that one, and somehow no one from the side of NYU is dead. They all 5 live with the Baron, 4 kills. This is bad for Western.
Oh my god, that was such an insane team fight coming out from NYU, especially the combination between Aqua Blue and Sprinkles, able to lock everyone down for such a ginormous amount of time that independently just turns that fight around. And add in the peppering damage from Malphite, add in the damage coming out from Myla, and the inability for Western to properly defend Disconnector right now, and that is just team fight win after team fight win, and they're going to be taking a lot off this Baron.
Returned, I don't know if they can hold this one out. That's 2 inhibitor towers, 1 inhibitor to boot. This is very, very tense now. And look at the bot lane push that's going to be able to come out from NYU. They have a wave to rotate to. That's going to be very, very hard for Western to defend here.
Yeah, thankfully, though, they have at least held on to that top lane inhibitor. It's not gone down just yet. But that Elder Dragon buff that we were talking about too, that is up, and there would be no better buff to grab at the moment, because you have the 4 Elemental Dragons, you have the 2 Baron buffs already in the pocket, and with the buffs coming on 8.4 going directly to that Baron as well, that is going to be absolutely insane if they can grab that Elder.
Yeah, they're going to feel really good about it, and how do you defend that if you're Western, because you just got your teeth kicked in top and mid side. Top inhibitor did survive the storm, but mid inhibitor, you know, going to be pulling in those super minions now, along with the Baron priority, along now with that. I think this Elder Drake's just given over for free.
I mean, this is such a bad one, but you are probably not wrong, as it would just be so hard for anyone to really come in and contest this, especially as long as Malphite has ultimate, as long as Sprinkles has ultimate, and on top of that, Aqua Blue having ultimate as well. And AD Carry looks like he wanted to go for the ult play there, but a well-placed sapling from Epic will defend that one.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely going to be a tight spot. Look, we saw the reset coming out in the top lane. It's Chimona. He pushed that one out. Doesn't have the teleport, so the rotation is late to get back there, actually. And that costs them the tower in the bot lane. I don't know if it would have been able to hold even if he were there. Inhibitor's gone as well. The base is just getting picked apart, and it looks like now the side of New York might just want to try to rotate. No minions for that top lane inhibitor. I don't believe they're going to worry about a fight too much, but if there were a time to try to pick it off, it might just be now, because otherwise, 3 inhibitors down, I don't see Western pulling back into this one. The minions are flooding in from the bottom and mid side, and it looks like they may be trying to go for this last fight.
Yeah, there is so much power with NYU right now. One common Disconnector could just be gone, but that's the ultimate gone from Malphite, and he's still alive.
Yeah, Malphite has been using that ultimate very well, but it bought him the time to find the first tower. Second one going to be very low as well. Epic trying to come in for this one. Stun does go down. Short Hop as well. Knocked right back out, and that's a huge denial. Epic going to be going down onto this one. Nova as well. Not going to make it out of that one. So it is 2-3 dead now, and this is game over for Western as NYU has found their way back into it. It was a tight game the whole way through, but it doesn't matter anymore. NYU take a surprising victory this time around over Western and absolutely put the nails in the coffin. 30 minutes into the game, we had no idea where we'd be. 36, it's a decisive NYU victory.
Yeah, and definitely NYU were bringing forward a few of those concerns, weren't getting anything on the top side, weren't getting anything within those first 20 minutes of the match, but then it was objective after objective that they just kept rolling over, and the team fighting. Sprinkles, it doesn't matter how far you get him behind, he was still landing clutch ultimate after clutch ultimate, and it was that team fighting that kept NYU competitive throughout this entire game. And oh, Western, I mean, they nearly had everything set up, but they just couldn't pull through right there.
I love it. This is the League of Legends that we hope to see all season long. We finally find it here in the 5-0 versus 5-0. Now, it is first blood taken in the series by NYU, but if I'm looking at this, I don't think that it's going to be just a quick, clean 2-0. It may still be a 2-0, but I don't think anything about it's going to go.
Anything but clean at this point.
Right, yeah. So I think we got a mud fest brawling out in the blood and the rain here for both teams, and I'm very, very excited to see this second game process on through. We will get into that shortly. We need to give the players a little bit of time to catch their breath, decide on the strategy, because I'm sure adaptations will be coming out for both sides in the pick and ban phase, and then we'll get right back into game number 2. But in the meantime, we're going to take a short break, come back, talk about game number 1 a little bit more, and then hop into the second. Please don't touch that browser. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few short minutes.